Hey guys, so I've been playing Metamorph quite a bit, and as you can see, I've made like 4 builds already, and I've encountered this problem where I just don't I feel like everything is super squishy, and it's really frustrating to die to one shots and to bullshit damage. So even on this build, for example, the Hierophant, I have like 9k effective life, and I still fucking die to one shots from just trash mobs, and it feels really fucking bad. So this has been my main so far this league, and it's been a jog. I really like this character build because it can actually tank the content, and you don't feel super squishy, and that feels amazing, honestly. So it's a cremation jug with using Zyro shards, incandescent heart, and divine flesh. So as a quick demonstration, let me do a tier 16 to show you how the build works. Fortune frame. What I like my problem with builds this league is that uh, whenever I try to play a summoner build, it just feels incredibly clunky. It feels like your minions are AFK 50% of the time, and I just even if they're good, it just doesn't feel good, you know. It just feels like you have barely any control over them, and this feels clunky. I like the more control over it, right? And casters builds are just also very squishy this league. So I think this is like the best caster build you can have, honestly. And yeah, as you can see, you don't need to worry all the time. Here's a metal boss. Pretty nice. Like I can stand here. I take a little bit of damage, but I'm not one shot. You know. That's the problem I have with most builds. It's like you charge into the pack and then bam, you're dead. It's like they overwhelm you and you're fucking dead instantly. And even with like an evasion character, it's like oh you might be lucky once and then don't die, but the next time you go in, it's like this. It's not reliable, you know. And this is like the most reliable build I've played so far, and that's why I'm maining it. And I can't really find a better build right now, which isn't minions because minions fuck minions. Oh, detonate that. And I pressed the flask on the right time and I didn't die. So yeah, I'm not looting all the things right now. I just want to show you how it fights against the boss and the Metamorph. Oh, and then I'll go a little bit more into the build and items. This is a pretty used up map, by the way. Fully sextanted and a lot of stuff on it. As you can see. But the build has a lot of life regen and physical mitigation and elemental mitigation and chaos mitigation. It has all the mitigation you actually need in this game. And it also has life leech. Now this thanks to the timeless jewel, which you kind of need a little bit lucky roll, but you can get life leech from the corrupted passives. Uh, Not sure where the boss is at the moment. But yeah, the best part is just being able to take damage of the metamorphs and not be super scared all the time. Even though there are some Metamorph that boost the attacks and kill you anyways. And that's a 6 by the way. Nice. Yeah. I guess it was. Also, it's fairly budget built. Stock is really cheap right now. The Syro shards, it's basically all you need, the 6 link of it. I bought it for like 70 cows or something. It's fairly cheap honestly for a 6 link. And considering it's your best damage option, and it gives you some block as well, and stats, and it's really good. For cremation at least it is. This is annoying. I can spawn on these guys, so you can actually get the shit going on. As you can see, I can tank the damage. I do take some damage, but it's 16 with that's normal and it does some damage. But I just find very enjoyable being able to tank the damage at all. And let's do Metamorphs. Sure. Pick the highest. But the problem is when you don't have endurance charges right now. Kind of want to get hit by something. It's up there again. Oh. Okay, this Metamorph is bullshit. And it gets very laggy as well. There's so many enemies. Okay, like normally you can tank all the Metamorphs easily, but this one has a barrage attack that does some obscene kind of damage, and you use detonate tip. Where's this guy? Oh my god. Fuck. What the fuck? Excuse me? Hello? I have no fucking clue where this guy is. He is there you go. But like any other build, you would get one shot, but I don't. So that's great. I can actually survive the damage and play the game instead of getting one shot by everything, which is very annoying. So over the build, for the passive skill tree, we use Jog. We get the endurance charges, more physical mitigation. You get more mitigation here, and you get unstoppable, so you can use a lot of unique flasks and not have to worry about freezing or stunning or temporal change, or like you don't even need to worry about curses because once your endurance charges are up, you're overcapped on all resists. And right now I have, if you can see defense-wise, I have cap resists, and the chaos rest goes up to 85. But when the endurance charges are up, you're overcapped by a lot, so even curses can't bring you down the thingy. If I can get hit, you can see the endurance charges going up. You see I get overcapped by a lot, and 85 chaos rest, over 160. And yeah, this is basically very tanky. Like 9k armor, and life regen, like 600 life regen, plus leech. It's a very tanky build. I put it that way. I like it a lot because of that. But onto the tree. So you get all the life nodes, and maximum endurance charges are pretty good. Because you want the physical mitigation. Basically, you play Jug to be immune to physical damage, and then you have Divine Flesh to be immune to well, to take a lot less chaos damage and elemental damage. So basically you mitigate a lot of the damage in the game, and that's, so far as I know, the only way to actually mitigate damage, other than blocking, which doesn't mitigate damage, it just reduces the amount of hits that you hit you. But you get the Soul of Steel stuff here for extra mitigation life. You get the life. I got the corrupted blood cannot be inflicted on you, plus life duel. This is like very important for Cyrus. and also for mapping, because you don't want to use remove bleed flasks. That's a waste of a slot. As you can see, I'm using Dying Sun, Wise Oak, Serious Promise, and Forbidden Taste, and Quicksilver, Alpha Adrenaline. And because actual bleed damage doesn't do much damage because of the endurance charges, they give you a lot of mitigation, so it doesn't actually do that much damage. And the only thing is corrupted blood. It's kind of fucking wreck you. But if you can get a jewel that doesn't do it, then it's really good. When you get more life, this is the glorious vanity jewel, which makes it divine flesh, which makes it all of elemental taken as chaos damage and max chaos res. It's a lot of mitigation. And then with the lucky corruption, I got here the revitalizing flames, which gives me fire leech, which is my source of leech, which helps a lot with sustain. And these corruptions are kind of meaningless. They're like more reds and stuff. Take these notes because of the chaos res. But it's pretty hard to get chaos res like on items and still do damage. I get the I have some energy leech, but energy leech is useless anyways. But the main reason is for the damage penetrates 6% fire res, which is a more multiplier. And because of cremation, we do pure fire damage plus some chaos damage. Elemental overload, we don't go crit. That's waste too many points to go crit, not worth it. Get some damage. We get here do double penetration nodes as well, which is like the 1% plus 5, 6% extra pen. More multiplier, I think that's worth it, the points. Get more life. Only chaos res cluster in the game. And we allocate vigor on the amulet. As for the gear, we use a 6-link Sire of Shards. I think the links are cremation 21, 23, hypothermia, elemental focus, inspiration, fire penetration, controlled destruction. And the reason why we use hypothermia is because we're using skitterbots, which always allows you to chill enemies, so that always works. And for auras we use our Herald of Ash, position level 1 just for a little bit more crit, for the elemental overload proccing, and clarity, and summon skitterbots. So I'm using clarity because I don't wanna deal with mana, you know. I don't want to use a mana flask or get fucking whatever extra minus mana stuff on gear, and it's just a lot of investment you have to do for mana, and you could get a little bit more damage with like an extra aura or something, but I like really the quality of life of not having to worry about mana. As you can see, I can just spam and you don't have to ever worry about mana. It's a very fluid gameplay, which I think it's way better than a little bit more damage, especially when you can just face tank content for the most part. But it's the boots we use chaos res and max life. The belt we use also life, chaos res, resists, chaos res, life. We do use incandescent heart. This is mainly for it gives us 20% more damage. And it gives us 25% of elemental taken as chaos, which synergizes with the divine flesh. So we get 75% of elemental damage we take as chaos damage. So we mitigate a lot of damage, elemental damage that way. It's a really good combination. I tried also Calm's Heart, but this one actually makes you tankier than having 2k extra life, just because you take so much less damage. It's kind of crazy how mitigation sometimes works out. For the helm you want to enchant, can have to one additional geyser. That's pretty important. Just life resists right now. I would ideally want a -9 fire res, but it requires a lot of gear adjustment, and it's just 9% damage. I don't know. I killed Cyrus and all the bosses, and like damage, you don't really need more damage. You just need to, survive. Honestly, that's for the most part. Like that, this is, I'll be crafting a better one, but until now. For the amulet, I'm also using just some life resist, more chaos rest, because it's just really hard to get chaos cap without doing some specific stuff like getting a double chaos rest node or something. But I want the endurance charges, so I want the bigger. And just pathing here feels very inefficient. Instead of just taking more life nodes, more damage nodes. And as you see, we just take the minimal amount of most potent damage nodes, and then the rest we take mostly life nodes. Also the area nodes are very nice quality of life for the cremation. Um, for the rings, I'm using, I crafted these myself. They're not super amazing, but it's mainly like life and then life and then the quality life thing. Same for this one, life and just a little bit resist. And these two rings, before I was using Kelm's Way, and basically 1k less life, and it just feels very squishy to burst damage. So that's why I choose to change it for life rings, so I can just actually tank hits without dying. Even like because of most content just does so much damage that even if you mitigate a lot of it, it still one-shots you, and that's what I want to prevent with this build. Um, yeah, this is the main setup for the. Ideally, I want to corrupt this one as well for less crit damage taken or something else. What's also interesting is the Soul of Sakari. Reduced chaos damage taken. It actually has synergy with the build, which is like very cool, because then most of the elemental damage and chaos damage, you're gonna mitigate that through the Divine Flesh thing combo. And this one helps with that, 5% less damage. And this one is just like whatever, just a little bit less damage taken sometimes. For the skills setups, I'm using on a cast 1 damage taken setup with Molten Shell, Combustion, and a Wave of Conviction. So this is gonna deal mostly fire damage because we have the most amount of plus fire damage. So it's gonna apply the 25% less elemental damage to fire. And then sometimes it ignites it as well, so that's 19% extra less damage. Chaos fire rest. So this is a nice damage boost plus some survival because we have 9k armor, so it gives you a little bit of survival. For the helm, we're using Flame Dash with Arcane Surge and Enduring Cry and Desecrate. So this is the main link is Desecrate with Arcane Surge. So you always proc Arcane Surge when you Desecrate. You always want to Desecrate for your cremation. And then also when you flame dash, you also get the buff Arcane Surge. This is just like 10% more damage, which is pretty decent. And then Enduring Cry is a nice utility when you start a map. You can Enduring Cry a couple enemies so you don't fall over very quickly, because when you don't have endurance charges, you actually are vulnerable to damage, even though you're decently tanky without it. But you just for extra safety want to start a map, just Enduring Cry. Just get some endurance charges going, and then you don't need to press it ever again, honestly. But yeah. And then for another setup here in the chest, we have Orb of Storms, increased crit, curse on hit, and flammability. And this is mainly for the elemental overload setup. So I just put the orb here, and then with very high chance I get elemental overload from it. And that's 40% more damage, so that's really good. Then extra thing here we have wall detonate that. This is nice for mainly for like metamorphs because they spawn a lot of well, mostly you spawn it next to the boss, so you can detonate the boss on the metamorph, so it does a lot of damage because it does percent of the boss's health as damage. It chunks them really hard, and also when they spawn ads, the metamorphs, the ads are also have a lot of health, so exploding those helps a lot with damage as well. It's just a nice utility thing. And then I have a portal, just for quality of life, just an extra slot. And with the aura setup here with clarity, precision, and some skitterbots. And yeah, then the flask setup, which I've already told you. And that's about it. I main this character a lot. I like tanking, like I play World of Warcraft. And I like tanking in games, and I, I really like the mitigation thing. So this one really suits me, and I hope you also enjoy it. And good luck.